This next one, let's hear the call.
Hi, Liz. Hi, Young Chomsky. Hi, Brace. Hope to see you at Ren Fair again this year. Since you guys mentioned in the first episode that you're also interested in just kind of, salacious rumors, I went to church in high school with a kid named Christopher Dykus, D-Y-C-U-S. Now, if you Google his name, the first thing that comes up is a Business Insider report about him leaving Oculus. This is because before Oculus existed, he was friends with Palmer Luckey, who currently works at Anduril. I met Palmer Luckey before Oculus. I got to try out a prototype of the Oculus before it was ready for commercial availability. Played some demo of Rage and some sort of Unreal Engine game. Anyways, the spicy bit is Dykus and Luckey worked together and hosted a website called delphinophile.org. You can view it on the Wayback Machine if you want. It was a forum for people who wanted to fuck dolphins. I shit you not. I've tried looking up the website on Whois. It's been down for a long while, obviously. Unfortunately, no information was available on Whois. Anyways, I think Palmer and Chris are very shitty for going to work on high-tech border security stuff. Fuck them. Fuck Anduril. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys would be able to find some sort of evidence of it. I'm sure the whole tech world would love to know what that piece of shit is into. Anyways, hope y'all have a good one. Bye.
So just to reiterate there, that is a caller who I once met at the Los Angeles Renaissance Fair saying that Palmer Luckey, the CEO of Anduril.
What's Anduril?
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Was the webmaster of a dolphin sex forum. Liz, are you familiar with dolphin sex and its place
Palmer Luckey
in the zoophilic canon?
I'm going to say no on that one and then no on my question.
Well, dolphin sex was that was a website that was kind of like a rotten.com style website when I was younger. I don't remember
I didn't look at any of that
on it. I think it was like a how-to website that you'd see in middle school, computer class to look at something gross.
Okay.
But I just remember hearing about that one scientist lady who hooked up with them dolphins in the 1960s. That was a very famous case of that. But dolphins have kind of always been on the non-barnyardian side of the zoophilic sexual library.
There was that famous Gawker interview with a scientist who had sex with a dolphin.
It could be just that lady that we were talking about. But I think that scientists...
There was a man.
Yeah, there is a guy, I think, too, who also did it. Peter
there was
or something.
This was a big, there was a big Gawker moment about this.
I'm not really sure. I think that they kind of justify it to themselves by saying that dolphins enjoy that kind of thing. Listen, I don't know the science on this. I'm going to go ahead and say that you probably, in fact, definitely shouldn't have sex with a dolphin.
Yeah. Man's dolphin sex memoir, suddenly very popular.
Interesting. When's that from?
This is from 2011.
Wow.
But it does talk about, it says, a self-described sex cult survivor, peyote enthusiast, and Wiccan, Malcolm Brenner, author of the famed dolphin sex memoir, Wet Goddess, claims to have had a 9-month sexual relationship with a female theme park dolphin in the 1970s. He wrote a memoir last year, but it was not until this week when he gave interviews to a New Zealand TV show and someone called Bubba the Love Sponge.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
That Brenner's tale ended up on Huffington Post and other sites. But I swear they did an interview with someone.
That's from Gawker?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, it is the Hulk Hogan sex tape.
I know.
Which Gawker published where Hulk Hogan has sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife.
Right.
That got Gawker shut down by Peter Thiel. Now, Peter Thiel, of course, owner of Palantir. Palantir named after a Lord of the Rings kind of thing. I don't remember what it is from Lord of the Rings. Peter Thiel, also early Facebook guy. Palmer Luckey, meanwhile, brother-in-law of Matt Gaetz.
Okay.
Meaning that he is not the only person with strange sexual habits in the family.
Oh, God.
Allegedly.
He has crazy facial hair that definitely looks like someone who would be into
You're looking at
sex.
Palmer Luckey right now? Yeah, he's one of the ugliest tech people I think out there.
But he has the it's like a landing strip goatee. I've never seen this.
He definitely, I don't know how to phrase this gently. He has the face of a guy who's like maybe a little too into giving oral sex to women, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
He
Like,
definitely has made it part of his personality.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's like a thing for him.
Yeah.
He
loves talking about it.
He was one of the inventors, or the inventor of Oculus, a company that sold to Facebook for $2 billion in 2014. He got fired from Facebook in 2017, ostensibly for giving a bunch of money to, it's reported a bunch of different ways in a bunch of different places. No, depending on how you read it, he gave a bunch of money to r/the Donald Trump subreddit.
You can give money to a subreddit?
I don't think so. So I think that it's probably just he was on it.
Interesting.
He claims that he had just gave $10,000 for an anti-Hillary billboard somewhere in the Midwest. And then there's other claims that he actually got fired because he lost an IP lawsuit because he might have stolen some of the technology, allegedly, that was used in the Oculus. Regardless, he was kicked out of his own company, which was now a subsidiary of Facebook, and he started Anduril. So again, he's a Teal acolyte. And Anduril is also, like Palantir, named after a Lord of the Rings thing. It's Aragorn, the king of Gondor, his sword, I guess. So Anduril...
I wish that we gotta, like, I'm an accelerationist for us running out of things to name,
there's so many things.
Running out of names from Lord of the Rings. So we need to like develop as many stupid tech companies as possible, as fast as possible, and name them all things from Lord of the Rings so we can exhaust the entire library so we can all just collectively move on.
I could see a company being called like capital F-R-O, capital D-O, like Frodo. You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah, or Fro.do.
Fro.do is really good. Yeah. What's the Moria?
I could see that as like a robot Froyo at the airport.
Oh, like in San Francisco. Yeah. So Anduril is a defense tech company, basically. It kind of does, it's like the same sort of business model as like SpaceX. Like we're going to do all this like bloated government contract stuff, but in a sleeker, more high-tech way. So like they're trying to like slowly get these defense contracts from underneath Lockheed Martin or Raytheon, whoever else. Their main thing is this like AI system. And who knows how much of this is bullshit? Who knows like tech bullshit? Who knows how much of it is true? But they claim to have this like, proprietary AI software that like lets them run these drones and these high-tech like like unmanned munitions in this, way that other companies can't do.
They just put out this like really slick trailer for it a couple days ago.
That's like their big thing. It's like they have a ton of like really slick videos of like, their new fucking drone. They claim their shit's being used in Israel and in Ukraine. I wouldn't be surprised if some of it was. They do have government contracts. They have like
these type of guys love slick videos.
They do. I think they got a $1 billion contract for anti-drone stuff from some kind of special operations acquisition thing in the government. Weird thing about Palmer Luckey is everything, actually. He is one of the weirdest fucking dudes ever. And I'm sorry. A lot of people tell you when you're growing up you can't judge a book by its cover. I think the core message of don't be racist or assume that everyone's bad because they look weird is true.
Totally.
But oftentimes you actually can judge a book by its
I'm going to
cover.
say this. Just Google him, click over onto images, and
Judge that book, judge away.
It's right there.
I think the book's contents probably match what you're seeing on the cover.
Here's a landing strip on his face.
I would say this. Google Palmer Luckey cosplay, and then the book cover becomes a lot crazier.
The Time magazine with his bare-ass feet and the Oculus on him is a classic.
It's tough. Where he's dressed up as a female character from the video game Metal Gear Solid 5 is a very difficult picture to look at. And there are no shortage of those pictures. He also claims to have vestibular implants in a 2018 Wired article. In the article, he claims that there is a red telephone on his desk that if you call it and he picks up, you can talk directly into his ear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't really...
Why would you want that?
That seems like one of the worst possible things that you could ever implant.
I'm literally in the middle of the night when you're sleeping. Joke's on me, of course. You don't sleep in the middle of the night.
I don't sleep.
But I'm going to implant one of those in your little ear. And then I'm going to be the only one that can call.
That could be soothing to me, though.
Hello, Brace!
People listen to this podcast to go to sleep, which is fucking crazy.
That's nice. And they probably have dreams about you. That's weird. If you have dreams about Brace Belden, please don't call in and tell us.
Don't call in. I don't want to know about it, man. But I'll say this, like, he's a body mod guy. He's a, like, you know, he's like the dick implant guy that I spoke to about in the Elon Musk episode.
That's, wow, what a surprise.
And I don't know if this will make sense to anybody else, but I feel like there's a lot of pretty hefty spiritual truth to this. I feel like if you're gonna be a guy that has sex with animals, that a dolphin is the most advanced one to have sex with, like the most futuristic one that would appeal to a tech guy the most. Do you see what I'm saying there?
Well, I think there's something vaguely like utopian about it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to like, well, I mean, obviously there's weird sawdust kind of stuff there, but I do think that there is a sort of, I'm thinking about like Tumblr C-punk era.
Yeah.
And like a guy like this being kind of having sort of regressive taste. That's very conditioned by dated stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
And so I could see him being into or thinking that that was sort of like had a utopian kind of vibe.
Regardless, I could not find delphinophile.org on Wayback. So if you are the guy that I met at the Ren Fair, and let me defend that really quickly. Let me defend that.
Why do you have to defend that?
I like going to the Renaissance Fair.
That's not weird.
I can't dress up because jobs for Jewish people were fairly limited in the Renaissance and medieval era because people do dress from both of these things. And I don't want to go as a court Jew because that's, I mean, I do walk around with big bags of gold. But I like going to the Renaissance Fair. I like having the big turkey leg. I like watching the Knights joust.
I think it's too much turkey, but I agree that everyone likes going to Ren fairs.
Yeah,
that's always a big thing.
I just want to get ahead of that stuff.
It's like going to the county fair. Fair season is fantastic.
I like any kind of fair. I like any kind of fair.
Are you a funnel cake guy?
I am not. You know, I rarely get sweets when I chance upon a fair.
What do you get besides that? You just get savories?
No. In fact, I don't usually get the turkey legs. I usually get like a kind of like a.
It's too much leg.
I usually get some kind of barbecue dish.
A dish?
Not a dish, but
like a stick, a kebab,
a kebab, or maybe a sandwich or something like that. You know, and then a big old, drink. A flagon.
Do you play games?
I will play whatever game there is. I love to play carnival games, and I'm good at it because I can outwit the simpleton carnies.
What do you do?
I understand how they're trying to trick me, and then I trick them further. So, for instance, if I can't pop the balloon, I distract them by having one of my many courtesans that I go there with unleash their breast, and then I'll pop it with some kind of other instrument that I brought.